Hey guys, this is Bruce with BruNoah LLC back here again. Love you guys, missed you guys. Sorry I've been away for a little, doing some different business ventures, but I'm back and I want to jump right in, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. But I want to talk about how every word, every thought, everything you see, and every action is a command with the universe. And I want to kind of go on this because I think a lot of different sources of information when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to God, when it comes to anything in general, when it comes to just our realities and how they work, they don't really talk about this part of it because honestly, I don't think majority of people realize it. As a matter of fact, I'm willing to bet that majority of the population doesn't realize this, but they will. Okay. So what do you mean by that? What I mean by that is everything you speak, anything you think subconsciously, any action that you do has a direct effect on the universe in terms of your reality, which means that any and everything you say and any and everything you think has a direct outcome based off karma, based off actions, based off what things that you seek, based off things that you want. So let me give you a quick example of this. So what I mean by that is if you are casually speaking to someone and you say a phrase such as happy or joy, what happens is your body will register a happy and joyful feeling. So you've been taught through the school system that your body reacts differently from your mind. So for example, you've been taught that your body is in control and your mind is kind of the power source behind it in terms of what it does. However, the reality of it is that our minds are, what happens up here is actually controls our bodies itself. It's actually reversed. So what I mean by that is if you want to be happy, and I've talked about this I think in the last two videos, if you want to be happy, all you got to do is simply say I'm happy, or just say happy. And then the body will naturally start to smile. The body will naturally come to that sense of joy and happiness. Now, you may dismiss this as a coincidence, but it is not. We are commanders of our universe. And it's one of the main reasons why I tell people that you don't have to, there's no certain thing you have to do to manifest. All right. You are always manifesting. It's just a matter of whether you're on a love spectrum or whether you're on the opposition, which is a hatred spectrum. I would hope and love for all humanity to be on the love spectrum, but the reality of it is that there's an opposition out there in a spiritual war that's happening that a lot of people don't even realize or understand. And it's happening 24/7. So what does this mean and how does this relate to you? What this means, okay, and this is where it gets fun, is that when it comes to all the information that comes your way, for example, social media, for example, influencers, celebrities, things that you look at, things that you read, things that you speak about, the things that you see. Any and all of that has a direct effect on you in terms of your reality, in terms of who you become, who you are, and basically, essentially, your reality reflects that. So, for example, I'm gonna give you an example that I think everyone can relate to. You ever notice how some mornings, some days you wake up and you're just in a really, really, really good mood. Like you're just instantly just feeling good, everything's great, right? And then for whatever reason you are scrolling on social media and you're probably scrolling for, you know, hours. But in this example, I would say, let's say you're scrolling for 20, 30 minutes, right? And what I mean is that you're at work, but in your free time, you're just scrolling. Or you're sitting on your couch, it's your day off, and you're just on social media scrolling, looking at TikTok, looking at Instagram, looking at something, just something to kind of make you happy or bring you some excitement in the day. However, you notice that as you're scrolling, that all of a sudden you feel an emotion of just, when you're done scrolling, you feel exhausted. You feel a little out of it. You feel a little uneasy, right? And you ask yourself, you're like, whoa, what just happened? I was feeling so amazing. I was feeling great. All of a sudden now, I just feel like I need to go rest. Or I feel just a little, uneasy. I don't feel good. Like, why all of a sudden after scrolling, and, doctors and other people on the other side of opposition, when you look this up, they would tell you that, oh, it's just, it's eye fatigue. And because, you need to rest your eyes and all this other stuff. It's BS. It is BS. What happens is, this is the honest truth, and this is probably the most important video you'll ever watch when it comes to your journey of becoming one with God, becoming close with God. Because a lot of people just don't understand or realize, and the opposition doesn't want you to. Everything you are reading, from the titles of the videos you're watching on social media, you are taking in to your subconscious. You are taking into your spirit. So for example, when you're scrolling and if you come across a title of watch this, a very loving thing or something along those lines, you will get a rush of emotions from that. Now, I'm using that as an example, but the reality of it is that what goes viral on social media, and typically your titles on YouTube, are designed to inflict an emotional response for the opposition. Now, I'm not saying that the creators are working for the opposition, but I am saying that a lot of these creators that use certain rage baiting titles, okay, are essentially working for the opposition without them even realizing it. Now, here's what happens. YouTube will tell you that any title that inflicts any emotion, right, is going to get more views, is going to get more clicks. But why? Well, the reason why is because the way we work and the way we are as beings, anything we say, anything we read, anything we hear, right, we become, right? So when you're reading a title that says something on the lines of, because this is a typical title you will see when it comes to social media, it'll be something along the lines of I can't believe this happened. This is intense, right? Boom. You get that title, and then all of a sudden, your body gets a rush of an emotion, of an intense emotion, right? And you think nothing of it. Honestly, if you're not paying attention, you probably don't even realize it. But what happens is, as you're scrolling, now just imagine, that's just one or two examples, and even as you're watching this video, and even as you're paying attention, you're feeling right now something happening to your body, right? Just through my words of some of the things I've said, right? So imagine as you sit there and scroll and read and scroll and read and scroll and read, right? For an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours out of a day, 4 hours out of a day, you are taking in so many emotions, and honestly, you're taking in probably 80%, 90% of negative emotions from the opposition. What is a negative emotion? For example, if the title reads something such as pain, suffering, anything that's hurtfulness, if the title reads hate, if the title reads anything like this, even as I'm saying these things to you, and you're hearing these things, you're taking in all of these emotions. Now, for the sake of the video and for the sake of getting my point across, it is the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying. But the reality of it is that whenever I record, whenever I do videos, I want to get a message out, but at the same time, I go back at the end of these videos and I kind of meditate and I get myself back in a good space and I counter all of these things, which I'll go into in a little bit, in a little more detail soon. But essentially, the point I'm making is, that's the reason why when you scroll, you feel a certain type of way. You go from feeling like you're in a great mood, you go from feeling like everything's great, everything's perfect, you're like, man, I can take on the world, like I feel so strong, I feel great. And then all of a sudden, you just feel down. And you can't figure out why, you don't understand why. Well, it's because of what you're seeing and what you're reading. This also applies to books. It applies to everyday conversation. For example, the spirit, when it comes to God, there's only two routes, and I say this all the time: love or hate. There is no in between. So even though in casual conversation, if you're joking about something with somebody, about your body, about them, about something, and you mean it in a loving way, if it is a negative emotion or a hurtful emotion or something that is on the side of anger, regret, shame, just any of those things, depression, anything along those lines, right? Uncertainty, uneasiness, like anything along those lines, your body will register with that and you will become that and your reality will reflect that. Think of this. When amazing things are happening for you, when beautiful things are happening for you and you feel like you're having the best day ever and you feel like you're having the luckiest day ever, right? What do you notice around you with your surroundings? You notice that all of a sudden, everything you see, everything you hear, everything you read, everything you take in is all positive, loving things. That's not a coincidence. So what does that mean? This type of advice that I'm giving you should make you extremely happy, because what it means is Be mindful of the things you see, but as long as you are mindful of what you're seeing, as long as you're mindful of the things you're reading, as long as you have an understanding of it, and understand and take in real time what it's doing to your body, and you can test this yourself. So you can sit there and say, hey, this handsome guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I don't believe any of that, right? Well, pay attention, even during this video. Pay attention to my phrases, my words, or certain things that I'm saying, and pay attention to your body's response to that. Pay attention to your face. A good tool, a good example of this that I like to do with people to like show them in real time to prove it. I will tell a person, and I'm gonna tell you, I want you to completely relax your face. Like just completely relax your face. Relax your muscles, relax your face, right? And pay attention to how your normal, not smiling, not anything, just your normal face of how it is, right? And then I want you to think of an emotion, right? Whatever emotion you want to think of, just think of it and watch how your face will shift naturally on its own. For example, let's play a game. You keep your face where it is, and I'm going to say an emotion, and then I want you to watch what your face does. I'm going to say happy. Watch what your face does. Even me, even as I'm talking, like I just start smiling, right? You're smiling, right? Now watch this. Relax your face, and then I want you to say, or I'm going to say, sadness. And watch your face shift. And if you pay attention long enough, you'll feel a shift in your reality too. Now that's only an advanced level, but you can feel it. So what does that mean? Simple words, not even a full phrase, just words in general, have a direct effect on your life. Not only that, again, the things that you read have a direct effect on your life. So you may be looking at me and you're going, whoa. There's multiple things around us. There's what do you mean, Bruce? You mean to tell me the music I hear, the things I watch on TV, the video I'm watching with you, everything I'm reading, all has an effect on me? Yes. Listen, I fought this for a while whenever I became to realize all of this. There's no running from it. The opposition, the negative forces of this world, evil and wickedness of this world they have incorporated themselves within this world. And we were intended to love, and they have purposely put distractions all around you. You are in a spiritual war, whether you realize it or not. And you are constantly, at all times, I'm not going to say attacked, but there's multiple things that are around you that are happening all the time that you may take as innocent, you may take as fun, you may take it as a joke. But the reality of it is that the reason why you're living the life that you're living, the reason why things are going the way that it's going for you is because of everything that's around you. Now, with that being said, I'm not telling you not to watch TV. I'm not telling you not to watch YouTube. I'm not telling you not to scroll. I'm not telling you not to follow influencers. I'm not telling you any of that. What I'm telling you is be mindful of what you take in, what you hear, what you're listening to, and just counter it. Okay? So for example, if you're scrolling and that title has a certain rage-baiting title to it, counter it in your head with something more loving and positive. So for example, let me give you an example. If you see a title that says, so-and-so influencer has let themselves go, wow, right? That's going to get a lot of clicks. Everybody's going to love it because that's what, people are attracted to is those type of titles, right? But you reading that, me saying that to you right now has an effect, right? So what you would do is you instead would say in your head, you will say, so-and-so influencer looks amazing. Just like that. Watch the video, click on it, do your thing. Just the last thing the way it works is you can read it, your body is transitioning to that. However, the last thing you think or say is where the reality of where you end up. So for example, reading it is fine as long as you immediately counter it. If you're watching a movie and there's a lot of dark, hateful things happening in that movie, as you're watching this movie, counter it with positivity and loving, more positive things with good energy. You know what I mean? Now you may be saying to yourself, man, that's a lot of work. Well, stop watching this BS. It's a lot of work if you're watching BS. We as human beings were not meant to just throw out words like we were not meant to just throw out all these casual, hurtful terrible conversations that we have. We were not meant to take in all of this content that we're watching on TV. We were not meant to listen to music that is about depression. 90% of the songs about depression, with the 10% of the hook being a good thing. We were not meant for any of that, but the opposition knows that. They know. It's all done on purpose, right? But there's people like us who are warriors, who are here to save humanity and to help humanity, who are here designed to wake you up so that now that you know this information, once you see it, you can't unsee it. So what does that mean? You say to yourself, man, this stuff's all around me, man. I wake up, the news, this, that, boom, 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 it's all around me. Well, go outside. Go outside, meditate, pray to God, build an intimate personal connection with God is the first thing you want to do. Build a personal, intimate connection with God. It is extremely important, okay? That's going to better your life along the way. Then along the way, be mindful of the things you hear and see. Meditate. Spend time meditating. That releases a lot of the hateful and negative thoughts that you may hear or see, right? Read, but be mindful of what you're reading. You know, if you want to start with my book, You Matter, on Amazon, go get it. But either way, be mindful of what you're reading and understand that you need to, whatever you're reading, every single line has an effect on you. You ever notice that certain books you feel good after you read it? Well, that's why. You know? So take care of yourself is the best advice I can give you. If you're watching something, if you're seeing a movie, if you're seeing something that is very dark, very nasty, don't watch it. Turn it off. You have to decide. There are so many of you out there who are literally, and I hate to say this, but it's the truth, and I'm going to say it. There's so many of you out there who are just selling your souls for free with little to no effort. You're just out there just willingly selling. You're not even getting paid for it, and you're selling your souls. You know what I mean? And a lot of you don't realize it, but you are. You know, if you are out here just hurting people left and right with your words and your thoughts, right? If you were just creating content that is just negative and hurtful and not even getting paid for it, I mean, you're just literally out here hurting people and hurting yourself in the process and not even getting paid for it. You know what I mean? So if you notice that a lot of your content around you is negative or nasty, turn it off. Decide whether you want to be on the side of love or you want to be on the side of hate. Because here's the thing. When you die, there's no excuses. So when you're standing in front of God and His judgment, you can't look at Him and go, oh, well, I knew what I was supposed to do, man, but it was just too good. The content I was watching was just too amazing. I just couldn't, I mean, my friends were doing it. That doesn't matter. You got to stand up for what's right. And the path of righteousness and love and the path of God is the most beautiful, glorious path you'll ever take, but it requires sacrifice. It requires you to kind of untrain the way you've been trained through the school system, the way you've been trained through the matrix. You got to retrain your brain to where it doesn't seek out all that BS that's out there. And once you do that, you'll be fine. We're here to help all of you guys. BruNoahLLC.com. Join us, talk to us. We're here for every one of you. Listen, read, grab the book, You Matter, right? Or just a positive book in general. Meditate, pray, gratitude journal. All these things are extremely important. And work out. Get out there and work out. I'm telling you, when you're doing these types of things, when you're taking care of your body and you're outside, you don't have time for the BS. You don't have time for all this negative content that's out there. And I promise you, there's a direct connection between angels, people who have things going for themselves, people who look good, and their lives are amazing. And there's a direct connection between people who don't take care of themselves and things are just never going their way. But it's because of the content they're engaging in. But the good news is you all can change. And it just requires you to make a change and decide right now that you're going to be different and that you're going to grow. Shift your content. Stop watching BS. And just focus on becoming the best version of you and building an intimate connection with God. And all will be well. It is that easy. I love you. God loves you. Thank you guys for your time. See you soon.